No chair. Chair's run away. So I guess we're standing for this one. Okay, so the next in my what I picked out was Disney. So originally I was gonna try to work my way around this by doing something from Touchstone, right? So Touchstone, I was like, okay. So I was gonna do something from Touchstone Pictures, try to get around doing any Disney movies because I was like, okay, Disney, I'm gonna save to December. So I said, okay, figured I'll try to use one of the affiliates, right? Touchstone Pictures was the first one I thought of. I went and I looked, and I found Wild Hogs, only one that I thought that'll work. So I grabbed my copy of Wild Hogs, right? I'm like, let me check the disc first, because I've had this for a while. It's been kind of moving around, and look at that crack right there. So you know what? Wild Hogs, that's out. So I thought Hollywood Pictures. I looked it up. Hollywood Pictures is another one. So I came up with Son-in-Law, but I thought, you know what? It is kind of cheating, so Son-in-Law is out. So I went back to my Disney movies, and I figured, what's a Disney movie that I can cover, that I wanted to cover? And that would be Holes. So I'm talking about Holes right now. Most recently, I rewatched this with my son a few months ago. My son actually read the book in school, and he told me, I'm reading the book Holes. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. Let me know when you're done, and we'll watch the movie. Because, you do that in school sometimes. You read the book and you watch the movie. So, we'll watch the movie. So he said, I'm done. I brought it. We watched it. And only found it like a week or so later. He's like, oh, we watched the movie Holes in school. And I go, oh, if I knew you were going to do that, we wouldn't have watched it. But, we watched it. So, I love this movie, by the way. Remember when it came out, all stuff on Disney Channel and stuff. Bought the DVD. And, yeah, so Holes tells the story of Stanley Yelnats the Fourth. They named themselves that because, well, Stanley is Yelnats spelled backwards. Or Yelnats is, his last name is his first name spelled backwards. That's basically why I do it. Although it's very weird how that started, because his no good pig stealing great great grandfather's name was Ira Yelnats. And then I guess he just called his son Stanley, and it just kind of... There's a duck in here somewhere. It's Fez, I swear. And so it just kind of stuck, I guess. So yeah, to explain this movie has flashbacks in it. There's like 4 different eras, really, to discuss. So I'm just going to cover it chronologically, from the earliest point in the timeline to the latest, right? So we start with the no good pig stealing great great grandfather Ira Yelnats in the old country in Europe. Remember exactly where, but he's in love with this girl, right? And he wants to marry this woman, right? But there's this big fat guy who also wants to marry her, and has brought her father. He's come to court her and talk to her father. The father says basically, hey, you guys, you bring me the biggest, fattest pig. Whichever one is bigger, you win. So to get help, he goes to this old lady, gypsy woman named Madame Zeroni, played by Eartha Kitt. Catwoman number 3. Yes, number 3, because I count the movie one. There was Julie Newmar. There was the other one. I forget her name. So tip my tongue. There was Julie Newmar. There was the one from the movie, and then there was Eartha Kitt. But yeah, Lee Merriweather. There it is. The Catwoman. And he goes to her, and she says, "You take the pig, and you go up the mountain. And you sing it the song, if only the woodpecker sighs, buck on the moon where the start of the skies, on the alone and honey and lonely, he smiles at the moon, if only, something like that. And you do that every day, and you sing to the pig while it eats, so it gets bigger and strong. And that will win, the contest. So, But after it's done, he has to take Madame Zeroni up the mountain and sing while she eats and drinks and gets big and strong. And if he doesn't do that, he'll be cursed for always and eternity. So, he does this, the pig gets big and strong, he takes it to the place for, the father of the woman he's in love with. It turns out the pigs are the exact same size and weight, so it's up to her, right? So obviously, she would pick the handsome guy. No, she's a dumb fuck. So she's stupid. So she says, "Oh, I don't know. Which one's bigger? They're the same." "Oh, but I don't know." And so he's like, "You know what? Marry the other guy." And so he gets pissed off and he runs away to America. But he forgot something to take Madame Zeroni up the mountain. So now he and his family are cursed for always and eternity. Okay, that's the first part. And the curse comes into the main storyline plot of the film. But now we go to the old plantation times, the western whatever. And we meet Miss Catherine, a teacher, local teacher in this small place of Green Lake, right? I think that's what it's called. There's a duck again, I swear. And so she's teaching these children, and there's another guy, African American man named Sam. They are played respectively by Patricia Arquette and Dule Hill. You know that's right. Gus from Psych, right? So, and they have some sort of romance thing. She's a teacher. She needs help. His whole catchphrase is, "I can fix that." So whatever needs to be fixed, I can fix that. And he's got these onions, right? And the onions have magical powers, I guess. Fix bunions and fix stuff. And the yellow spotted lizards, they don't like the onions. And then there's the peaches. Miss Catherine, she cooks the peaches. She makes the peaches. It's like in jars and stuff. I don't know exactly what she does. She pickled the peaches. I don't know. Peaches and juice cream. I don't know. Long story short, they fall in love. And they kiss one rainy afternoon. He goes, "I can fix that." And then he kisses her, right? Problem is, this was the time when that was a no-no. The time where that was, no, you can't do that. That was a big no-no in that time in America. So, no. So they killed his mule, Mary Lou, which is also the name of the boat, I guess. And then they hang him, or they shoot him, I think. And so, yeah, he's dead. And yeah, so and they have the line where the guy whose daddy owns the lake, he's like, or the sheriff or whatever, is like, "It ain't legal for you to kiss him." And it's like, why isn't it? Like, he can't kiss her, but she can kiss him. Like, I don't get how that's only a one-way street. Like, if it's like illegal for that to happen at all, then both parties should be at blame, right? If according to you it is illegal, then both parties should be at blame, right? But no, because he's the one who's African American, he's the one. And I will give props, they do handle this tastefully. They don't throw out the N-word, they don't throw out any slurs, and just say, "Oh, it's not against the rules for you, against the law for you to kiss him." It's tasteful. So, yeah, because of this, she becomes an outlaw, and she becomes the Kissing Kate Barlow legend, starting with the sheriff and moving on. And this also, the guy Trout, he is actually the grandfather or great-grandfather of the eventual warden of Camp Green Lake. When this happens, the whole thing just kind of dries up. The whole lake just kind of dries up. There's no more lake. There's no more nothing. And this actually leads us into the third part, and that's Stanley's great-grandfather, Stanley Yonats the First, or Stanley Yonats. And he has this chest full of money and a bunch of stuff, and he gets robbed by Kissing Kate Barlow. and is left in the desert. She, for some reason, doesn't kill him, because if she did, there'd be no movie, because, and so he had to climb this mountain that's shaped like God's thumb. That's a plot line, remember that. And he gets to the top, and he survived by climbing up there, which, that's, I don't know. That's a big climb. That's a big climb. But, yeah. And so, that's part of the curse, though, because the family, the Yonats family, was cursed for always and eternity. That was his curse. He got robbed like in Cape Barlow. How he was lucky enough to get that much money to begin with is beyond me, but So now that brings us to the current timeline. There is something that happens before what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell about it later. So Stanley Yonats the Fourth, he's walking down the street. All of a sudden, boom, pair of shoes just come down. Walking, pair of shoes just come down and boom, pop him on the head. He's like, huh? And he hears this police siren. He starts running with the shoes. Turns out, shoes belong to a fictional baseball player named Sweet Feet, and they were supposed to be donated, and they were stolen by someone else. And the police, of course, think he did it because of the curse. He gets taken down. Like, he gets completely blamed for it because of the curse, right? So, pardon me, I'm a little parched. Hold on. So he gets sent to court because he's a minor. He gets a choice: spend some time in jail or go to Camp Green Lake. He chooses Camp Green Lake, and there we are introduced to other characters. But first I want to note that Stanley Yonats the Fourth is played by, do it! Shia LaBeouf, Shia LaBeouf, as I call him. His dad, though, is played by Henry A. Winkler. His mom is played by that one actress who's in everything. She was in a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you've seen her. The grandpa I'd never seen before. But the dad, Stanley Yonats the Third, is trying to create a special kind of thing, special kind of deodorant that permanently gets rid of the stink in your feet. Like, you wear shoes, there's no stink ever. Right? He's trying to do that. It doesn't work. And when the police show up, the landlord's like, "Oh, glad you are here. This whole floor smells like feet. And smells like stinky feet," or whatever. And they go in, and he's trying to get rid of the stink, So anyway, he goes to Camp Green Lake and introduced to Mr. Sir, played by John Voight. And I like Mr. Sir. I like to do the line. My son kind of rolls his eyes, but "You thirsty, Stanley? Begging you to it." I like to do that impersonation. Yeah. And so Mr. Sir says, you go out there, you dig some holes, and it builds character. That's why they do it. It's not why they do it. There's a whole other reason. And you figure that out real quick, that there's something they're looking for, even though they say they're not looking for anything. It's like, what are you looking? It's like, oh, if you find something, you bring it in. And if the warden likes it, you get a day off. What are you looking for? Nothing. You're just digging holes to build character. Well, then why you need to look for something, you find something. You're not looking for anything, then why do you have to, yeah. So we're introduced to this character, Dr. Pendanski, or Mom, as the people from D10 call him. He is not a real doctor, as we find out later, but he is there sort of a counselor to help the kids reacquaint into the camp, I guess. And he's been put in D-tent with colorful characters that are X-Ray, Armpit, Magnet, Squid, and Zigzag. Also, Zero, who apparently has nothing in his head, is the only character, the only member of D-10 that Pendanski calls by his nickname. We never really know why. Maybe he just thinks that he's actually stupid, but never really find out why he's the only one. He just does, right? Calls him Zero. The reason is that if you revealed his real name right away. I mean, you could have just said, oh, his name is Hector, but I call him Zero, because there's nothing in his stupid little head. But they never say it, because if they said his name, it'd give away the twist. So, yeah. So Stanley and Zero, they become friends, buddies. Especially after Stanley talks about what happened, the shoes falling down. He's like, were they Sweet Feet shoes or whatever? Yeah. How'd you know, man? Another twist. Later on. But yeah, so they're digging holes, and Stanley finds this little, what looks like a bullet case, but ends up being like a lipstick case. Lipstick cover. And he finds it, but before he finds like a little fossil, which earns him the nickname Caveman. So he tries to show it to Bandansky. Bandansky's like, we're not looking for fossils. But then he finds this other thing, and when he finds the fossil, X-Ray's like, you know what? You've been only here a few days. Anything you find, you give to me. I'm only here longer than you. And to me, that's not fair, but I guess that's how it's going to be. I guess, I don't know. So he finds that little lipstick cover casing thing, and that they bring it to the warden, who is revealed to be played by Sigourney Weaver. Yes. And her whole thing, like Vicky Guerrero, is, excuse me? That's a little, excuse me? So, bring it to her, and they decide to dig in X-Ray's hole for more. But there's nothing there, because that's not where they found it. They found it in Stanley's hole. So remember that for later. So, story short, Zero, so Stanley, he gets in trouble because Magnet, when Mr. Sir's not looking, steals Mr. Sir's bag of sunflower seeds. You see, he eats the sunflower seeds because he done quit smoking, which ends up, he goes back on it by the end of the movie. But it's interesting to see smoking in a Disney movie. You don't see that anymore. Interesting. Back in the 90s, and earlier than that, it was in there. But nowadays, I know you can't show that to kids. Kids can handle more than you think. The whole, I think off on a tangent, but there's this whole thing. I haven't seen it yet, but I doubt that's the case. When Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness came out, right? They're like, oh, this is scary. Don't bring your kids. Bullshit, alright? Kids can handle more than you think. You don't need to coddle your children. I show my kid horror movies, right? I show my son horror movies. Don't bother him. Of course, he has been raised on a farm and seen cows and chickens and pigs and stuff get butchered, so he's desensitized to that shit. So it might not be every kid, but I'm one to stand up and say, hey, your kids can handle more than you think, alright? And from what I heard, Multiverse of Madness is not as scary as they're making it out to be. Just say. Anyway, back to this movie. He gets in trouble for it. He gets taken back because they throw the bag of sunflower seeds to Stanley. He gets in trouble for it. He takes the blame for it. He says, I took the sunflower seeds. He gets taken in to the warden. The warden, the way they phrase it, I found something in Stanley's hole. And so he thinks it's, first of all, that's a bad phrase to begin with. In Stanley's hole? Yeah, no. So she thinks it's something substantial, but no, it's just a bag of sunflower seeds. So she puts this poison, yellow spotted lizard, nail polish stuff, scratches him in the face, right? Sends Stanley back. This causes problems. This doesn't cause problems. This kind of gains him respect, but turns out Zero has dug up the rest of his hole, for the day. You gotta have it 7 foot and whatever, 5 feet. Yeah, 5 feet in diameter or whatever. But take a bad boy, make him dig 5 feet. So yeah, but this makes him a deal. Zero can't read, and he doesn't want to, dig all the time. So if he teaches Zero how to read, Zero will help dig his holes. That's the thing. Eventually, this catches the ire of the others, where it's like Zigzag's like, hey, I'm gonna give him a cookie. Are you digging a hole or whatever? I don't know. Something like that. They're like, no, Cause problems. And this ends up with, you know, stuff happening. Pendanski has to confront them. And he thinks Zero's so stupid. And he's like, what does D-I-G spell? Not smell. What does D-I-G spell? He's like, hits him with a shovel and goes, dig, and then runs off. He runs off, and then the next day, Stanley steals the truck with the help from a new arrival. And the next day, a couple days later, there's a new arrival. His name is Twitch. He's not really that big of a character in the story here, but he shows up and he helps him. He's there because he's got to help Stanley steal the truck. Well, Stanley, like an idiot, drives it into a hole. So, he just runs off, and eventually he finds the boat, Sam's boat, Mary Lou, which has just been laying in the desert this entire time. They never picked it up or nothing. Nope, not at all. And amazingly, he's finds Zero. Before this, though, back at the camp, they got rid of Zero's files because no one. He was living alone. He was homeless. No one's going to be coming looking for him. Okay. And also before this, we find out that Zero's real name is Hector Zeroni. Zeroni. Ring a bell? For always and eternity. So, alright, so they walking in the desert, right? And they sit there, they look up, and they see the mountain shaped like a thumb. God's thumb, as it's called. So they decide they're going to climb that thing, and it's a straight climb up. Eventually they get up there, Zero hurts his hands, and Stanley almost falls, but they make it up there. They get up there, and they find onions. By the way, when he meets them in the boat, there are actually canned jars of peaches there. I don't know how the hell they can eat this stuff. That can't be good. It's over 100 years old, right? It gotta be. Ain't no way you can eat. Also, why would there just be jars of peaches? Like, when that boat was hit, it was in the water. So was it floating in the water? And then when it dried up, it just happened to go underneath the boat again? Because if the boat was tipped over, it was in the water, it would float through the lake. Maybe fall in. They wouldn't land right underneath the boat. I don't know. It's hard. I'm not going to go into it. Not going to go into it. It's going too far. Whatever. So they climb up and they find a batch of onions, because onions are apparently still growing there, even though no one's there to take out and replant them. They've just been growing there for hundreds of years for no reason. I guess it's wild onions, right? I don't know. But they get up there, he's like, oh, this is a hot fudge sundae for all you care. Eat it. They just eat onions. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to eat onions like they're apples, right? Until I got a hot one. I was like, nope, no more. No more. I can eat raw onions now. I mean, no one's going to like my breath afterwards, but, you know, I was a kid. But, you know, I don't mind it now. Like I'm in a burger or a hot dog. They're good. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. So, but just out of nowhere, for no reason, while Hector is drinking the water, or Zero's drinking the water, eating onions, Stanley just decides to sing out of nowhere the song, if only the woodpecker sighs, buck on the moon was the soft in the skies, if only. He just decides to sing it. All of a sudden, back home at the Yelnats residence, a jar of peaches or whatever falls in the batch that Mr. Yelnats III is making, and he can't smell anything. And he's like, smell this. I don't want to smell it. Honey, I don't smell anything. What? I don't smell anything. I don't smell anything. I don't smell anything. He got that. The curse is broken. Because of this, Stanley's lawyer shows up, because now the curse is broken, the loophole thing has happened, and they found him innocent. The lawyer shows up looking for Stanley at the camp. He's not there. Oh no, what's going to happen? But they just say, oh, he's busy, you know, I need to see a court order. She comes back real quick and is like, hey, I need this. But, you know, that's later, though. So they decide to sneak back. They decide there has to be something in that hole they're looking for. So they get in there. They get in the hole, they start digging, and they find something, but the warden and Mr. Sir, who's now smoking again, and Pendanski, they find them. But there's a bunch of yellow spotted lizards in there for some reason. I don't know, it was a trap by Kissing Kate Barlow. There was another flashback that showed the warden with her grandfather, who was trout, digging. And it's out, well, excuse me, whatever. But yeah, anyway. So, she makes up a lie and says, well, they stole one of my chests. And they dig in the hole, and that's like, no, wait a minute, no. He's out there, the spiders just crawl off them, because they ate the onions, you see, and the yellow spiders, they don't like my onions. So, that's what it was, and they get out there, and so Zero gets out with the chest wrench. She says, oh, thank you, here, thank God you're okay, and he goes grab the chest, and she goes, earlier, he's like, Stanley, is your last name same as your first name? Yeah? She's like, it has his name on it, huh? Stan Lee Yale Nats, because he can read now. He can't read, like Pendanski. He can't read. So yeah, that's Stanley's chest. His name on it. It's his family's money that was stolen by Kissing Kate Barlow when she stuck in the desert because her horse died or something, and she had to bury it. Ted Trout would never find it, but some sheer luck, the great-grandson of the guy it used to belong to just so happened to find it. Is that this curse was actually really lucky, as the curse got him punished and led him, you think about it, he was cursed, right? The curse got him punished for something he didn't do, led him right to it, and he was only supposed to be there until he found it. But then again, if he found it before he broke the curse, then it would have been taken from him, probably. So all this stuff had to happen, and meeting Hector Zero, everything had to happen that way, I guess. I don't know. So turns out he can go home because there's no file on Zero. He gets to go with him. He goes back, and everybody is happy to see them, even though they were pissed at him before everything happened, except for Twitch. Don't even think about it, Twitch. But anyway, they're all happy. They say goodbye, and then we find out that they actually used the foot thing with Sweet Feet in a commercial, and that's a whole new thing. They're marketing it. It's called Sploosh because it's something that Zero came up with when he found the peaches. He's like, I call it Sploosh. It's peaches. I don't know. But it's called Sploosh, and it gets rid of the foot odor. And I guess there's a whole misunderstanding because the guy's not mad at Stanley anymore, even though he wasn't first. But that was just a curse, right? This movie's good. I have to say, when it comes to holes, it's pretty good. It's a long review. I might do some of these standing up. I won't do them all, obviously, but I'll do some of these. Yeah, pretty good. So, let's go ahead and choose the next category, and then I'll get out of here. Because honestly, I'm sick of talking. So, right here, let me do that. I was looking down. I didn't see what it was when I looked down, but I was looking down. Fuck, did it go? Oh no. Hold on. Where did it go? Son of a bitch. This is not cool, man. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Just look down, stupid. Okay, here it is. It is. Yeah, it's Arnold. It's Arnold, yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Arnold. Alright. I can do that. I can fix that. No, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a good one. Alright, so look for that. Till then, what are your thoughts on Holes? By the way, I love the song that plays in this movie. It just sucks that The only music video they made is a shortened version of it. The one they played between commercials on Disney Channel. They never made a full music video for it, and it sucks. But, fun song. But what are your thoughts on Ho when it comes below? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.